Hey guys, this is Nick in Dallas. Today I wanted to show you two simple tools that we can use to improve our map designs. The first of which is Google Earth Pro, especially for getting high-res satellite images. We've seen it a couple times show up in award-winning briefs pages, people using satellite images and overlaying our regular map graphics on top of it using colors and transparencies. It's a really cool effect, but it kind of relies on the quality of the screenshot underneath. So first things first, we want to go to Google Earth Pro, online, and we want to download the desktop version. This is kind of important because here we have the web version, and this will work for the most part. The issue is that you're kind of constrained to the resolution of your screen when you take a screenshot on Mac. So if you have a really bad screen and you take a screenshot, that's going to reflect in the quality of the screenshot. If you don't want to be constrained to that, that's why you would download Google Earth Pro. They have functions where you can essentially download an image of whatever you're looking at, very high quality, to use wherever you want. So when you download Google Earth, you would go down here and download that on desktop, and you open it, you would get something that looks like this. And for the sake of this demonstration, I'm going to type in the search bar in the top left here, Plano, Texas, and let it slowly find its way to that after I hit search. Give it a minute. It's going to zoom all the way in. Here we go. Now I know, since this is my market, that Plano kind of takes up this space here. So let's say I want to make a map of Plano, and I'm going to grab a high quality satellite image. In the same way on the web version that you can turn off all the roads and labels, down here at the bottom left you have a layers panel where you can pretty much turn everything off just by clicking, toggling it. So we have just the base satellite image. Okay, once I have my subject Plano centered, I would go up to File, Save, Save Image, and suddenly this bar pops up at the top. This bar is important because it gives you all the options. Normally, by default, it will come with these four checked if you wanted to export an image with the legend and the compass and the scale. In my case, I don't really care for it. I can adjust the scaling of the image, and I can adjust the styling. Do I want it in color, maybe a little bit more muted, or do I want it straight black and white? For the purpose of using color overlays, black and white's probably going to work the best. And then resolution. You can choose what resolution you want to export it as. In this case, we're just going to do the 4K, and then you hit Save Image, give it a name and where you want to save it and what you want to save it as, and save. In my case, I have already done that. So I want to show you guys how this can kind of play out. Let's say that you have done a basic map and this looks fine, it works, especially with our CI simple style. It is perfectly appropriate, and we're just highlighting the Plano and then proposed project zones in a different color. Well, you could kind of spice it up a little bit if you got a high quality screenshot and you overlaid it just like this, and this is just black and white. There's no color tint to this, and using multiply effects with these color blocks, you get a cool overlay effect. It looks really nice. Or you could even play with it a step further and say, hey, let's make the background a little bit colored, and again, color overlay. There's a lot of possibilities, and it looks really cool if you can kind of fine-tune it correctly. So you might be saying, I could just grab a screenshot from the web browser, it's no big deal, and I don't need to download anything. That is perfectly valid. But let's say you wanted to do this for a bigger map, maybe not one that's an inch and a half big. In that case, it would be really important to make sure that the quality holds up when you zoom in. From the left here, we have a screen grab from the web browser. You can see that this is this is where Plano is and where it meets Frisco up here. It looks fine, especially if it was a lot smaller, but at the same size you can see how much higher quality a screenshot, or rather a downloaded image from Google Earth Pro looks. You can see a lot more detail, it's a lot clearer. Just in case you can't tell from here, I zoomed in even more and you can see very clearly how fuzzy things get around the edges, especially with all the little suburbs. It's something to consider, especially if we start looking into maybe making bigger maps on the cover. Maybe you could play with something like this and have a lot of fun with it. The next tool I want to cover is something called randymajors.org. This addresses a very specific problem that we've all faced. When we type in the city name on Google Maps and it gives us this little outline, but we can't have multiple ones. You can't say Plano and Frisco and it highlights both, and that's super annoying. Unfortunately, Google Maps, base doesn't allow you to do multiple cities like that without tracing the shape, which at that point we might as well just screenshot and trace it ourselves in InDesign or Illustrator. But randymajors.org plays with Google Maps and allows you to see multiple city limits or multiple zip codes at the same time. They have a few other functions that I haven't played with. The only three I've ever played with are county lines, city limits, and zip codes. But I just want to show you how this works. In this case, you hit city limits. The free version has ads all over the place, so don't worry about that. There we go, it's loading in. Come on. There we go. You can see it's starting to build little shapes all across. And these, if you hold command and scroll in, these are the city boundaries. This is a tool I've used many times whenever I've had to map multiple cities. And the cool thing about this tool specifically is that you can not only do city boundaries, but you can do county lines, and it'll show you how those boundaries relate to the county lines. Or if you really wanted to get specific for whatever reason, you have the zip codes as well. It's really convenient and really easy to use. If you're just trying to find a very specific city, you just have to click over it and it'll highlight that one for you. But this is a tool I use that you just get the cities in question, you take a screen grab, and then you pull that over into a file for you to begin to trace over. It's not ideal, I know, because we are using a third-party, tool, but it works really well, and hopefully this and the Google Earth Pro satellite images helps you guys make cooler maps. Thanks for watching, and I'll make sure all the links are provided on the slideshow. Bye.